Hey everyone, I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Jaime and Fuego.
And this is your horror show news.
Sans booze.
Sans booze.
We had some people in the comments a couple weeks ago when we did one of these. They're like, hey, try it without the booze sometime. So, no booze. Hey guys.
None on camera.
Yeah.
No, I had a little drink earlier, but it's definitely not the same as usual. So let's just jump into it.
It's all stories, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick jumping into it here, Fwags. What is first?
Dear.
I mean, you can kind of just look at that.
No, yeah, exactly. And I've just got a few notes about release dates and stuff. But
gotcha.
Yeah, so I believe on the 11th of September, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of eerie. Apparently, the apocalypse is coming to American Horror Story on 9/11.
Great.
That's bad.
Great marketing.
Yes, I know, right? So they teased at the end of the very first season, if I remember correctly, it was the baby that Evan Peters' character had with Dylan McDermott's wife, if I remember. And it was,
okay.
And they had the whole, I know Sarah Paulson, she showed up as the weird medium chick, and she was like, the spirit or the baby of a spirit and a human was going to bring out the end of the world, and they released their promotional material for the crossover season that Ryan Murphy's been talking about forever, which is Coven and Murder House Crossing Paths. It's apparently called Apocalypse, and my theory, especially with this little red baby that they have in all the promotional material, we're finally going to see that kid grown up, and it's going to be nuts. Talk about finally getting back to your old plot points, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Dang.
I mean, it's about time. Because the last couple seasons have just been dog crap in my... Well, no, I liked Roanoke.
I did like Roanoke. Yeah.
Take it back. Let me bring it back.
Well, Hotel...
Hotel was
much.
garbage.
Yeah.
Hated Hotel.
Yeah, and I
might be my least favorite season.
And I never even watched the most recent season, the one with the cult leader and everything.
I didn't even finish that, so maybe that's my least favorite season. I guess is that on Hulu too? I guess I should finish that.
It'll probably jump on there
Sarah
at some
Paulson
point before this goes in.
was so annoying in that season, dude. So rough.
I wanted to watch it because of Billy Lord, I want to say. Carrie Fisher's daughter. She's hot.
No, was she in that or was she in Scream? She was in the Scream show.
She was in
Scream
both.
Queens.
She was in Scream Queens, and then she was also in the most recent season of Cult.
That's right, she was. That's right. She was.
I heard her and Paulson
Evan
kind
Peters'
of a thing.
Oh, that's right. They did. Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Anyway.
Bad show. I'm excited for Apocalypse.
This gets me excited about the show again, honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't the hugest fan of Coven just because it went kind of weird places, but I did like the Axeman. I did like Murder House a lot, and I do like the promotional material. The weird hand reaching up for the baby. I think that looks really cool.
It looks creepy.
It'll be, I'm sure, here where my hand is right here, and after post-production. But yeah, I mean, I'm on board for it.
Yeah, same here, man. So jump into story number 2, and this is basically, most of this is going to be news out of the San Diego Comic-Con, which just wrapped up today as of this filming. And so this is a bit of information that jumped out. It was broken by Deadline, but then it was expanded upon a little bit further at the convention. Apparently, Buffy is being rebooted for the small screen with an African-American Buffy. Joss Whedon is executive producing. There are no details about cast, if this is going to be full-on reboot, if it's going to be more like when we saw Kendra and just like another Slayer maybe named Buffy or whatever. We don't really know how they're going to take this. She still lives on in comic books at Dark Horse, so, or at least the Sarah Michelle Gellar incarnation of her. I know they've been trying to reboot this for a while. There's been murmurings here and there. I'm kind of surprised that they're going about it on the small screen instead of maybe doing something big, but I don't know. I really love the original too, so I'll definitely check this out. What do you think, man?
I might check it out. It just depends on if it's going to be aimed for me, if it's going to be aimed for teen girls, you know. I mean, obviously they're not going to aim it at a 30, male in his 30s. But I
don't know. Joss tried with
maybe.
times.
I would probably give it a try, but it's a lot to live up to. I mean, that was.
If he's only
7,
too,
well, most of the 7 seasons was solid. I mean, I liked.
I felt like they lost
a lot of that show.
It
did, and I really loved Angel, and Angel picked up that steam, in my opinion.
Have you read any of those season 8 and 9 that they've done in the?
Yeah, no, I actually read 8 and 9. I did not read 10 or 11.
Oh, have they gone that far?
Oh yeah, they're still going.
Damn.
I think they actually just started 12.
Well, I know they were still going. I just didn't realize it got that far. That it's been. I mean, the show has been off the air for what, like 15 years now? 10 years, something like that. I think it has.
I know. You're probably right, but I don't want to hear it.
Nah, I don't either. I don't want to hear it. Oh, you foolish. I don't want to.
But, you know, whatever, and the ethnicity, whatever, that doesn't matter.
No, I don't care for crap about that. We had so many different kinds of Slayers. I mean...
Well, not only that, but, I mean, that's kind of what's in right now with Get Out and, you know, the first Purge. You know, they're making a shift where it's now more minority-driven.
Well, and also gender-bending, too.
Yeah, gender-bending, minority-driven casts and stuff like that.
Maybe we should have a male Hispanic Buffy.
El buffet.
El bufo.
I don't know how that would work. Yeah, no, let's not say that.
No,
so kidding. I don't know. I'd give it a try, but I don't think I would be in it for the long haul unless it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that I'm just not that into that stuff anymore. I couldn't even finish the last season of Teen Wolf because, well, frankly, because Dylan O'Brien left.
You liked that show.
I loved that show for a long time, but the last couple seasons with the doctors, the Dread Doctors or whatever they were called, were so kind of boring.
Interesting. So. Yeah. Oh, and that show wouldn't even be around if not having something like Buffy to emulate. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Cool. Well, next bit of information also coming out of the... so I guess there is something called ScreamDiego, which is done on... It's Wednesday or Thursday evening. It's basically right before Comic-Con starts. New Line Cinema has this whole... Or not... Well, it's either New Line or a bunch of the different studios get together and they basically showcase all of their spooky type of content. And one of the things that was announced by Blumhouse was major details about the third Annabelle movie. So, whereas the first one I think took place either concurrently or just a little bit before, I don't remember. We both know Annabelle Creation was a prequel and took place decades before. Apparently, Annabelle 3 has been announced to be taking place in the present day, and it's essentially going to be her going to the Warrens' home and, like, bringing to life this whole crazed collection of hers that she had. It's been described as the director as Night at the Museum with a horror twist. Not sure what I think about that, but
I love it.
do you? Yeah,
I do. It's actually an idea that I had for a horror movie before we got the whole collection at the Warrens. I think it's a great idea to set loose, you know, like if Annabelle... But Annabelle isn't alive, though. That's the thing. Annabelle has always moved around by ghosts, so I don't know how that's going to happen. But
yeah, how's it going to work?
But, you know, I'm on board. I mean, I'm on board. I want to see, you know, how they do it, to see all the little weird evil stuff come to life and somehow, or death, or whatever you want to say.
Oh, there was a lot of nutsoid stuff in there, man. I mean, there's a lot of room to kind of expand upon and whatnot. But I'm personally most surprised that we're getting Annabelle 3 before Conjuring 3, and I know we've mentioned that before here on this show, but it's still, you know, Annabelle was something that sprouted off from.
Well, the last one did well enough to justify it.
It did very well, actually, and honestly, it was exceedingly better from what you said.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I personally really enjoyed the hell out of the second Annabelle film. I thought it was quite good. Good performances by both of those girls. And yeah, this is slated for the 3rd of July of next year, 2019. So July 3rd, 2019, it's going to be unleashed upon you. We do have The Nun to look forward to in September, so that'll be our next foray into the Conjuring universe, which I really enjoyed that trailer. So I feel like this is a property as they expand their universe, just going in a pretty cool direction. So yeah, I'm cool with it, man.
Yeah, me too.
Talk about another property that is expanding and trying to finally, after 10 years. So the original Zombieland came out in October of 2009. And now, after all of the murmurings, which we've been covering for quite a while, they finally decided to confirm every aspect of this, not only going into production, it's filming in January of 2019, but they've officially dated it for October 11th of 2019. And yeah, they're calling it Zombieland 2, like Dumb and Dumber 2. I don't know why they're doing it like that.
Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah, Teen Wolf 2. But they're spelling it like 2, like
yeah, that's what Teen Wolf 2 did.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Teen Wolf 2, the one with Jason Bateman?
Yeah, because it was Teen Wolf also.
Because he was also the Teen Wolf. Okay, so it's another Zombieland. Okay, anyway. It's been not only officially greenlit, like we said, and it also has filming dates, but the coolest thing of all is the fact that they have confirmed that every original major cast member is coming back. So we're getting Abigail Breslin, we're getting Emma Stone, we're getting Michael Cera, we're getting Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
I get them confused all the goddamn time.
Michael Cera's name was never in any of the articles you were just looking at, though.
I know, but I'm not looking at the article right now. I'm just going off the top of my head that those two fuckers are interchangeable in my head.
They're really not,
and I haven't even been drinking.
Anything alike.
No, they played those same kind of characters.
Super curly hair, and the other one doesn't. Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, super curly hair.
Okay, maybe when he was... What, Lex Luthor? I don't know, anyway. So
yeah, he had super curly hair as Lex Luthor when he's bald.
Oh no, he got bald at the end, remember? But, so yeah, cool that the original cast is coming back, but also Ruben Fleischer, who just wrapped on Venom, he's going to be returning to direct, and also the original writing team of, I believe it's Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who also wrote both of the Deadpool movies. What else? What the hell else did they write? Cool stuff that you guys would all enjoy. I know I wrote it on here somewhere. Gosh darn it. Oh, they also wrote Life, which I thought was way better than Alien Covenant, personally. At least
I liked them both. I like them both.
So we have a talented team reassembling for this, and yeah, we were trying to remember if Bill Murray was actually like killed.
No, he wasn't killed. Shot through the head, so he could come back.
Yeah,
he could come back. It is a zombie tale,
but as a zombie, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously.
I totally saw Eddie Van Halen the other day. Really, he's still alive? No, he's a zombie. No, I'm stoked for this, man. The original film was hilarious, and it's on par for me with like Shaun of the Dead and Tucker versus Evil and Tucker and Dale versus Evil and the Army of Darkness and Evil Dead stuff is just terrific, gory, hilarious. Melding of the comedic and the scarific. So
agreed.
I'm down, man. I'm down. Next one, we got number 5 story here. Now, this is the one that I have kind of mixed feelings about, despite the team that they're putting together. So, Shudder is teaming with Greg Nicotero of The Walking Dead fame. He's handled most of their just amazing gruesome effects for that show. He's an old protege of Tom Savini's, so he goes all the way back to like Day of the Dead with him, and he's worked on tons of other stuff. He's apparently teaming to be the director, at least of the first episode, but he's going to be kind of a showrunner and somebody that also helps to executive produce and supervise and stuff like that. A reboot of Creepshow as an anthology series. So it's not going to be a film with different segments in it. It's going to bring on a different director every time, very similar to what Tales from the Crypt did, and it's going to be just an ongoing series that is going to be exclusive to Shudder. So I think this is exciting, but yet there's no involvement from the Romero or from the King camp, obviously. So that's the one thing that makes me just kind of wonder. We saw what happened with Creepshow 3 when there was no involvement with any of the original people. However, this is a much better team, and I like most of what Shudder does with their original stuff they do, with the stuff that they acquire to be exclusives for them. They've done a lot of good stuff for the horror community, so I'm hopeful. Your thoughts on this story, Rick, man?
I liked the Creepshow movies, and it makes sense to do it Black Mirror style. So I'm fully on board for it. I mean, since we didn't get the Tales from the Crypt reboot like we were supposed to,
or the Tales from the Dark Side reboot that Joe Hill was trying to do.
Right. No, let's just stick with the Creepshow then. I mean, whatever actually comes to us, I'm gonna embrace. Because I love horror anthologies. So.
Truly, yeah, same here. And one thing that Nicotero apparently wants to do that I was reading in an interview that he did at Comic-Con as well, he said that he apparently wants to have a corresponding digital comic book that comes out about the same time every episode debuts.
Oh, wow.
So that there's, because even in the originals, the first 2 films, they had the comic pages and they would turn them and then you would jump to the actual story. They did publish a real Creepshow comic. I own it. It's killer. They kind of altered a few plot details here and there, but great artwork from Bernie Wrightson in it, and I mean, hell yeah, I'm all for maybe even bringing in a different artist for everyone, different director for everyone, and just having that corresponding creativity, man. I'm all for this shizzle. The next one is a little bit of Shudder info that I know you really don't have much light to shed on this, but you can at least attest to the fact that you saw me and a lot of our friends and contemporaries geeking out about the news of this guy coming back, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and apparently enough people liked it that it broke Shudder.
Yeah, it broke Shudder. Their site was crashing the entire time. As I was reading, same with like his merchandise site and stuff. All these people who I'm assuming had maybe forgotten about Joe Bob Briggs, they're like, holy shnikes, I remember watching Monster Vision back in the day, which is where I discovered stuff like Phantasm 2, Return of the Living Dead, and all kinds of other schlocky shizzle. So yeah, it was very successful, brought in insane ratings for them, and despite calling it the last ride, apparently, as I suspected the whole time, I'm like, this is like a testing the waters kind of situation with them. And I've seen a little bit of it. It's hilarious. They have the entire 24-hour broadcast on Shudder now, so you can just jump on and watch any of the films that he covered. I know he did Tourist Trap, he did Hellraiser, he did Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama, whatever in the...
Wait, so does he do commentary or just, like, interrupt them?
What he essentially does is he intros the films, and then where there would be a commercial break, he gives his thoughts about some of the scenes that have just played out and makes jokes and, gives behind-the-scenes information and stuff like that. Okay. So he doesn't talk during the films. He just talks in little, like, break times.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It made a lot more sense when it was on TNT, because you would go to commercial break, you'd come back, and he'd come on. With this, there's no commercials on Shudder, so they just broke up the film is what I'm assuming that they did, because I only watched a little bit of it. We were covering Mad Monster all of Friday the 13th, so I didn't get to watch this the way a lot of people were tweeting that they were. But yeah, if you guys remember Monster Vision or any of his you know, at the drive-in schlocky horror grindhouse insanity, he also wrote a couple books. He was on Jay Leno back in the 80s. I mean, he's a guy that did have a lot of esteem for being knowledgeable and funny about the way that he put his genre coverage together. So I'm gonna try to twist this guy's arm to at least watch some of his stuff at some point. Yeah, he's funny. Now we get to the last story, and this is one which is a super bummer for me because of the fact that he was on the channel once before, and I interviewed him a previous time as well for Heavy Metal Television. This is we're not gonna, you know, be super downers about it, but it's obviously, you know, very, very saddening news to hear that John Schnepp, who was a host on Collider Nightmares, which was the Collider horror coverage show along with Clark Wolf and a bunch of other people on there, as well as a director of a segment on ABC's of Death, and then a director, co-creator, and show headliner basically of the Metalocalypse show on Adult Swim, passed away after having a stroke, and there was some just serious complications with clotting and things like that, and he was on life support, and they ended up deciding, since there was no brain activity, to just kind of you know, let him you know, go to the clearing at the end of the path, and as us King fans would say. And so he's a guy that I looked up to a lot, and honestly, if not for discovering the movie talk stuff and whatnot, I wouldn't have been as intrigued and interested in jumping from print to getting more involved in jumping in front of a camera, being involved with doing this stuff with you. He was an inspiration and kind of a hero of sorts to me, and he was a big comic book nerd, and he, you know, wore his heart on his sleeve about that. Interviewed lots of cool people, from, you know, Frank Miller to, you know, various people who have been cast in comic films and stuff, and he was very reverent and very knowledgeable, and he was really, by the time he passed away, the only remnant left on camera, at least, from that original group of people that I was watching when they were still with AMC long before the Collider days. And so you saw at least his Death of Superman documentary.
I actually didn't even get a chance to finish it, which is why I need to do it, obviously, now, sort of in honor of him. It's a really, I didn't, you know, I wasn't as huge a fan of him as you were, but it's such an odd thing when someone that's been on the channel, because I'm a lot, you know, I'm on camera all the time here, but when it came to conventions and things like that, I'm usually a behind the scenes guy. And I kind of let Fuego and Susie and Marsha do their thing in front of the camera, and seeing, you know, Fuego interview John and seeing what a nice guy John was in person, and, you know, he was super nice to me. I introduced myself after the interview, and he was super cool, and it's a bummer, you know, to hear about something like this. And he was a tall dude, right? 6'4", something like that.
He was like 6'4", 6'5", like 3 and some change. Just a big type of guy.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I'm not far off of that, so it hits close to home. It's like, shit, I could have a stroke at any time, and then y'all might be doing a new story about me. But the guy was super nice, and so it's a real bummer. And by all accounts, just a really great individual. So it's always sad to hear that. But yeah, especially when it's someone that's been on the channel, because it's like, I love seeing the joy that you guys get when you interview certain people.
And you saw how much I had with him, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a guy that I really looked up to and respected a lot. And, you know, especially, you know, just to lose his talents at 51 when he had so many other projects that he was currently working on as well. It's you know, it's tough, man. So, you know, I definitely, you know, say, you know, glad that I got to meet him when I did. And, you know, lots of viewers of the show, from Kevin Ketchy to, you know, Rob and Jason Chamberlain, all these people, they also watched his stuff too. And, you know, they were just having similar little just moments of remembrance, I guess. So if any of you have any interest and you do know who John Schnepp was, and you know, we're a fan of his work, there's a GoFundMe going on right now, because despite the fact that he didn't survive, he has, his family and his fiance have hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills from the care of them trying to save him, which is just so crazy about the way these things go. So yeah, if you search John Schnepp on GoFundMe, you'll find some information there. And I guess that's where we will leave it for this bit of news. Now, I have to throw myself under the bus, because for this particular program, Cecil had told me in advance that we were going to switch to the old format. And the old format for me meant, oh, we're going to sit in the room at the desk. No, doofus. The old format entails writing stories, essentially what we did for Kings of Horror. Because
we did that before.
We never did anything even scripted, though. Once we
we did. We did it before we went to Kings of Horror.
Well, I know we did,
and that's why they wanted us to do the new. No, we did it scripted.
I don't remember us scripting it, but yeah, I guess we did.
Really? I remember doing it a lot. Because we'd always have a lot of time where we'd spend doing that.
That was back when I was still riffing on things, and you eventually put your foot down on me, and you were just like, "Hey, man, you're gonna need to start writing out
I do remember having to do that.
Writing out your thoughts," because I would have bullet points, and I would riff on it, and then you would write out the entirety of what you had to say, jokes and all, and everything. And so sometimes mine were good, and sometimes they were kind of especially once we brought in the booze factor to the news. So yeah, we're gonna 100%. We promise you guys, for the next episode of the news, it's going to be old school. Hey, he's it's going to be fully scripted and back to he was ready. He had a whole page of notes, and I'm like, "What are you doing there, man?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing what we talked about."
I mean, going to the desk didn't mean just sitting down and doing what we've been doing standing up.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did we did the spoilers, like kind of thoughts on the news where we loosen our ties, and for whatever reason, that's what we're going to go back
to. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but that was off the actual
stories, and then at the
so you want to do it like that, like the old format?
Yeah. We're going to do the stories, and then we're going to loosen the ties and give our opinions at the end.
Nice. Well, there you go. We're going back. How far are we going back? Way back. Fuego's a dumbass. And Fuego's sober as a priest on Sunday today.
Next week we'll get her done. Thank you guys very much for watching. That's going to do it for the news. Sans booze
for the news. For the news. Horror show news.
I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Jaime Fuego.
And remember,
stay scared of Fuego forgetting.